And so for the past 3 months, I have been driving and living the EV life here in my Ford Lightning. And I get a lot of people that ask me these questions about what is it like living here with an EV. I'm going to talk about my experiences with a CCS charger. And for all you Tesla owners, we're going to meet up with my friend Will in a little bit, and he's going to let us know about what it's like living here with a Tesla and their charging infrastructure. Now, the charging infrastructure in Charleston is pretty bad. So the only DC fast chargers currently are at the Target in North Charleston off of Rivers Avenue. Now, yeah, it's centrally located, but it's not very convenient to get to. Now, lucky for me, I have a level 2 charger at home, and the Charleston area isn't really that big. So I've actually never had to go there and charge, because a full charge can get me more than around town every day. Now, with that being said about the chargers, there are some that are coming soon. The Tanger Outlets has a bunch that are installed, but they're not turned on yet. I don't know how fast of a charge they're going to be. And then Circle K is actually starting to put chargers into some of their gas stations. One is listed at coming soon here in Charleston. Both of those places, though, are in North Charleston. So everything happens to be in North Charleston for some reason if you need a charge. So when we get outside of the greater Charleston area, like, what is it like in the state of South Carolina? And like, wanted to take a road trip somewhere? Well, every website and study that I looked at had in South Carolina in the bottom 10 to 20 states for the worst electric vehicle charging infrastructure. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but they are kind of few and far between, and you do have to plan your routes out a lot more than you do in states where they're more prevalent. Now, a perfect example of this is right after we got the truck, we were driving down to Beaufort to see my mother-in-law, and I greatly miscalculated my range, and instead of charging to 100%, I charged to 80%. Well, Beaufort has 0 fast chargers. So we were there, I was wondering how we were gonna get home. We actually ended up pulling back into our driveway with a 4% charge. It was my first experience with range anxiety, and I will never do it again. But even when you get into the bigger cities like Columbia and Greenville, yes, there's more than in Charleston, but they're not big cities by any means. Now, I'm not sure about the Tesla infrastructure. Again, we're about to meet up with my friend Will here in just a minute, and he can answer these questions for me about the Charleston and South Carolina charging infrastructure for Teslas and superchargers. So now that we've talked about the charging infrastructure out in public, out in the wild with the CCS and the Tesla chargers, now, if you're charging at home, it does make it a lot more convenient, as you probably know, but there are some things here that you need to take into consideration. One is a lesson that I learned, that we have a detached garage, and our electrical panel is in the middle of our house, so it was significantly more expensive to install our charger because they had to run extra wires down into our crawl space. But a lot of people are now building homes here in Charleston. Not many builders are adding a charger in for you. Now, if you are building from the ground up, you can have the option of, asking them to put in a 240 outlet in the garage, and you can get your level 2 charger in there. And some builders like New Leaf, which do kind of semi-custom homes, and then your high-end custom, they will install the chargers for you so that you're ready to go turnkey once you close on that home. But when you get into homes like D.R. Horton, so D.R. Horton's only building spec homes right now, so there's no changes that can be made. The good thing, though, is 99% of their homes have an attached garage. So the electrical panel is put in the garage. So once you move in, you need that electrician to come in, and it is super easy for them to throw in a 60 amp breaker and either hardwire your level 2 charger or put that 240 volt in there so that you can mount it on the wall and you are ready to go. And then we need to talk about the cost of electricity. Utility costs, specifically electricity, when you look at state rankings, South Carolina is pretty much always ranked in the top 20 cheapest states for utility bills. So that is a good thing for charging at home with your EV. And there's two main electrical companies here in town. There's Dominion and Berkeley Electric Co-op. Now, both of them, you can do your regular residential plan, or if you ask, you can do the time of use plan where you can charge overnight and your electricity kilowatt hours are significantly cheaper. Just look into it wherever you're moving to see which one's gonna benefit you the best on how much you need to charge and when you're gonna charge and whether you work from home or not and you're using more electricity during those peak hours. All right, here's Will over at the charger. So let's go talk to him about what it's like with a Tesla here in Charleston. All right, so Will, you've had your Tesla for a few years now. So without me having a Tesla, I've got some questions for you. And the first is, we were just talking about the charging infrastructure for the CCS is not great here in Charleston. How is it for the Tesla?
We have two superchargers here in Charleston. We have one here at Target and then one at Tanger.
Okay.
That's really all we have. So personally, I use my charger at home, my level 2 charger, but we only have two superchargers here in Charleston.
All right, so West Ashley and North Charleston. So if you live in Somerville and you need a supercharger, you've got to drive a significant distance.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then, so you charge at home, and you've got about 300-ish miles of range on that. Do you ever feel the need, I have to stop and charge here around town?
With charging at home in my daily commutes around Charleston, having it at home is perfect for me. I rarely use the superchargers unless I'm going on a road trip or coming back and I'm running really low. Then I'll stop off and top off to get home, but for the most part, my charger at my house is good enough.
And now the one thing this is a big question that I have. I see a lot of Teslas around.
Yep.
But there are no Tesla dealerships in town. I think the closest are either Charlotte or Savannah. So if something goes wrong with your car, do you have to drive to one of those cities?
Yes, if you want, they do have mobile service that will come to you and maybe change out your tires, but for the most part, you have to drive to Charlotte or Savannah to get pretty much any service on your vehicle.
So if you completely break down and you can't drive it, you have to get it towed to one of those cities, which is 3 hours away.
Yes.
And
you have the expense too. So.
Yeah, and you said you had that happen. You had a battery module go out, but you were able to drive.
Yes, I was able to drive. They had to replace the battery entirely, but I had to drive all the way to Charlotte. So it was a full day affair to drop it off and then wait 2 weeks to come back and re-pick it up. Whereas if it was here in Charleston, it would have just been an easy thing for me. So.
But they did give you a loaner.
Yes, they did give me a loaner vehicle to use to get to and fro, but yeah, it would have been a lot easier if it was here.
Yeah, because it's a full day to drop it off and a full day to pick it up. So that cuts into work and life on that. Yeah, but it might not be a huge deal because there's more Teslas than any other electric vehicles around. So people deal with it here.
And on the occasion, you might have to take it to get serviced, but for the most part, you can find a local shop that could change your tires out for you. They just have to make sure they use the right equipment to lift your vehicle up. But for any serious things, you're going to have to take it to Charlotte or Savannah.
Well, hopefully that picks up, or maybe Columbia gets something as a central hub. But so overall, have you had any issues here around town with it, or you've been pretty happy with driving it?
I've loved it. I've had it for 2.5 years now, and I've never had really any problems other than the battery issue. And as far as commuting and stuff, it's been super easy for me. Coming from a gas vehicle before, I haven't really noticed any difference. And the benefit is my gas station is my house, so I can just fill up at night and then be ready to go the next morning. So it's been pretty good.
And now, as a state, we're not very great in charging infrastructure either. So do you take it on road trips? Have you had any issues with you know, just getting somewhere and back with some range anxiety?
I usually take it to around South Carolina. I've been up to Greenville. I've actually been to Tennessee with it, and there's chargers on the way, and luckily it tells you like when you need to charge and when your next stop is going to be. So I haven't run into any issues, but there has been 1 or 2 times where I've kind of cut it really close in an area where there's no chargers around, and I kind of made it to one with like 1%. So was pushing it, but luckily I made it. I really do think if they do add more chargers, it'll just make that a lot easier.
Yeah, because from the map I looked at, there were a decent amount of, especially Tesla superchargers, but they are kind of far apart. So there's a lot more planning here than there would be in other states that have a better infrastructure. Awesome. Well, hey man, thank you so much for helping me out with this, and have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, see you.
So let me know, do you drive an electric vehicle and live in Charleston? What did I miss? Are there any other tips and tricks people need to know about? Let them know down in the comments. And if you're looking to move to Charleston, hit me up, whether it's the next 3 days or 3 years, and check out this video right here because I think you're really gonna like it.